Hello, vintage animation and action figure nerd. Right back with you in defense of Filmation's version of the Ghostbusters. You know, yeah, those guys. Those are the ones. Anyway, little backstory. Here. In the mid-70s, Filmation was the production company to put a live-action comedy on Saturday mornings called The Ghostbusters. Simply The Ghostbusters. It was Larry Storch, Forrest Tucker, and Bob Burns in a gorilla suit as the super smart gorilla Tracy. Storch and Tucker were the two Ghostbusters, respectively. Well, along come 1984, and Columbia Pictures made a little movie some of you may have never heard of called Ghostbusters, about 4 paranormal investigators. Around 86, Filmation really wanted to work with Columbia to put a spin-off of their Ghostbusters series on the air, and Columbia went with Deke Enterprises to broadcast the real Ghostbusters. Filmation's Ghostbusters was still the spin-off of the original concept. This time using their sons of Jake Kong Jr. and Eddie Spencer Jr., along with Tracy the Gorilla and the Ghost Buggy. The mouthy, very flippant, very sarcastic, very whiny Ghost Buggy. Let's compare. Let's compare the two because there are very many comparisons to be made. Filmation's Ghostbusters lasted for 1 season of the traditional 65 syndicated episodes. The real Ghostbusters, the ones based on the films, Columbia and Deke's joint project, lasted for 5 seasons. They started out on Saturday mornings, moved to syndication, went back to Saturday mornings under a format that really no one asked for, called Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters. That just dumbed down the whole concept of the Real Ghostbusters. But I digress. 5 seasons trumps 1 season. That's basic math. The Real Ghostbusters was the one based on the film characters, that was fresher in people's minds, and it was more popular. Toys and merchandising. Shopper Toys made the Filmation Ghostbusters figures a little toy line called Kenner made the Real Ghostbusters, which was basically them retooling and repackaging and re-outfitting the 4 Ghostbusters, occasionally Janine Melnitz or Louis Tilley, and making up a bunch of ghost figures for them to fight against. Shopper's Ghostbusters were 5 of the good guys plus a tiny version of Belfry, plus 5 of their ghosts. 6 of the ghosts, plus Brad a Rat, who was the size of a PVC figure. they also made the Ghost Buggy and they made Ghost Command, but again, the real Ghostbusters had a huge plethora of vehicles, including Ecto-1, plus they did have the Firehouse headquarters. Once again, the real Ghostbusters trumps Filmation's Ghostbusters in notoriety for the toy lines. In defense of Filmation's Ghostbusters, I'm here to defend it. I honestly appreciated the characters a little bit more on Filmation's. Yes, they busted the same ghosts every single day for 65 episodes. But I actually liked the villains on Filmation's Ghostbusters. I liked Primeval and his ghosts. Now, there is no denying the times that the real Ghostbusters fought Samhain or the Boogeyman or the Sandman. The Boogeyman in particular, that was a great episode for the real Ghostbusters. But again, the real Ghostbusters lasted for about 5 seasons, so there was plenty of room for a lot of sleeper episodes in between the good episodes. The theme songs. Filmation's Ghostbusters theme song was repetitive but original. The real Ghostbusters used the Ghostbusters theme from the movies. A great song, very iconic. The opening title sequences. The real Ghostbusters might take this one. Again, they had the better opening title sequence. Even though I did love the theme music for Filmation's Ghostbusters. The characters. It was the 80s, so there was always the iconic, cute character thrown in to be a laughing stock. The real Ghostbusters had Slimer for the annoying character. Occasionally Ray could be fairly annoying too. Filmation's Ghostbusters had Belfry. Eddie could be annoying on occasion. Tracy could be annoying on occasion. And every single anthropomorphic piece of office furniture in Ghost Command. You had the Antsabone, you had Skelevision, you had the Skelevator, you had Fred the Armchair, you had the Shock Clock, you had the filing cabinet. If the 80s were known for throwing in the annoying comic relief character, then Filmation was... While Filmation has always been my favorite animation company, it is also probably the worst offender for throwing in just obnoxious characters. Orko, Cowl, Madame Raz, Batmite, the Prairie People, and yes, the office furniture in Ghost Command, let alone Belfry, who honestly looked suspiciously like Disney's Piglet with wings. The controversy. Of course there was a controversy here because no one understood that Filmation's Ghostbusters was a spin-off of a Saturday morning series that had been broadcast 10 years earlier. Of course, the movie from Columbia Pictures and Ivan Reitman was fresher in people's minds. Then there was the whole controversy of Tracy the Ghostbusting Gorilla. Did Lou Scheimer, or did he not, change one specific Ghostbuster into a gorilla? No. No. This was the same Lou Scheimer half responsible for Fat Albert's success. He shared that with Bill Cosby. And honestly, Tracy the Gorilla was supposed to be super smart, super intelligent. He always reminded me much more of Egon. While you had Jake Kong Jr. reminding me a lot of Peter Venkman as kind of the level-headed leader, bossy at times, and could be a little sarcastic, just a little bit. And you had Eddie Spencer, who reminded me of the bumbling Ray Stantz, cranked up to 11. So, there you have it. I will tirelessly defend Filmation until the very end. I will tirelessly defend Filmation's cartoons. The Ghostbusters are no exception. Were there some problems here that I didn't realize when I was 4 years old and watching Ghostbusters followed by Brave Star on WGN? Yes. There were some problems with the writing sometimes. There were some problems with the animation. There were some irritating characters who just did not belong. I will still defend Filmation's version of the Ghostbusters. This has been your vintage animation, action figure, and music nerd. So long.